Hello, welcome to another video by Mox Marine. In this video I'm going to be installing or completing the valve train installation on this LS1 type engine. This is an aluminum block 5.7. It was a 5.3 bored out to 5.7. So the first step is to put in the push rods down the holes. The lifter's already been installed there below the heads, unlike a small block Chevy where the lifters are over in a valley where you can get to them. Once you install the heads on the LS motor, you cannot get to the lifters. So I use a special process. I put the push rods in, the rocker arms, and then I check the preload before I pump up oil. I pump it up oil and make sure all my lifters pumped up. It's really kind of I won't say a moot point, but the lift is already installed in the head, so you really can't do anything about it. It's kind of, it would be too late to worry about it if I didn't pump up. Excuse me. If there was something wrong with the lifter, it's just it's a bad deal because then you got to take the head back off. But I just want to make sure, have peace of mind that my lifters did pump up and are working okay. So let me go ahead and put these push rods in and the valve, the rock arms, and then I'll show you how I pump up the lifters. This is known as the lifter support bracket. Or I'll post the actual description in the video, but the part number is 125-52203. And looking up this part number in Rock Auto, it is the right part number for these heads. But this bracket will not fit down on here because it's interfering and it's touching right there. There's this piece right here. It's hitting right there. Excuse me, hitting right there, and it won't let it seat all the way. So I've checked; it's not hitting anywhere else. So that's the only spot, and it keeps this surface here from laying flat on these bosses here. So the only thing I know to do is take a grinder or a tool and grind this piece here away. I don't think it'll hurt anything. I'll just have to grind that away so that it doesn't hit right there. I'm not gonna grind on the cylinder head because I've got it mounted and I want the aluminum to go everywhere. So it's easier to just grind this off. So I'll do that and then see if this thing fits. I just find it odd that it's a part that's obviously right part number for this particular head, this particular year engine, and doesn't fit. Come on, Jim, what's up with that? So I'll have to custom modify this part to make it fit. Baffles the heck out of me how it fit the first time. Unless this head's got unless that webbing right there is just a little bit higher than any other head when it was manufactured. So anyway, that's going to be the solution to making this bracket fit. Okay, as I was saying, in order to make this fit, I had to grind the corner part of this support tray or support bracket. I ground it off right in here to make it fit, and then clear this spot right here. So it now works, or now fits. So that's solved. So this time I'm now going to install the rocker arms, and I use a special process for doing that. And the process is I rotate the engine to where this cylinder, which is number 1 and number 7, are on the base circle of the cam. What that means is that these push rods are as low as they will go, and they're resting on the cam, but they're not. When it's installed, there shouldn't be any pressure due to the geometry of the rocker arm and everything. There shouldn't be any pressure on this tray right here. Just from the spring, the only pressure will be from the spring inside the lifter, called your preload, and that's nothing almost. So what I did was I rotated the engine. So the firing order, I don't remember small blocks I had the firing order memorized. The LS motors I haven't memorized yet. I do know that cylinder 1 and number 7, it's 187. I do remember the first 3, so 187. What that means, if you put 1 at top dead center, that means the piston's all the way up. 7 is at the bottom, all the way down, and one more 180 degree rotation, 7 will fire because it's 187. So in other words, 7 fires after 1. So 1 fires, it moves down to the bottom of its stroke, and then 7 will be at the top of its stroke. So what you can do is from top dead center number 1, move it 90 degrees. That'll advance the piston down. Let's see. Yeah, it'll advance the piston halfway down in its bore, and will advance piston number 7 halfway up in its bore. If this is halfway down and that's halfway up, that means both of them will be on the base circle. So then you can tighten up these 2 here and these 2 here, and won't be any tension. Will be no tension from these valves on any of those 4 those rock arms. And as I'm doing that, what I do is I look down through here and I try to get this tray perfectly centered on all these bolts. I may not be able to get them all, but I get as close as I can to where all these holes are centered up on the
the holes in the tray are centered up on the bolt holes below. And then once I get these 4 in the corner, then I keep going and get the other 2. So that's what I'm about to do now. Okay, as you can see, I've got the the rocker arms on the ends of the support bracket fastened down. Each of these bolts is torqued down to 22 foot-pounds. And while I was doing that, I was making sure that this tray was pretty much centered over each of these bolt holes. If you look down through here, you can see how they're pretty close to centered. Wasn't difficult, but I just like to make sure that these are centered, make sure that this tray is equally spaced from all the valves, or amongst all the valves. All right, so now that these have been fastened down, this tray is not going to go anywhere. I can now put all the rest of my rock arms. I still rotate the engine to top dead center with that cylinder, but as far as filing any other order, doing what I just did, you don't have to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and install the rest of the rock arms on this engine, and then do the other side. All right, I now have the outer 4 rock arms installed, and again, I just torqued, these bolts are torqued down to 22 foot-pounds. I torqued down the outer 2 to get the this bracket in the right position, and then I torqued this one down and that one down. I just placed them there. As I was saying in the previous segment of this video, that I've got it turned so that this cylinder is 90 degrees past top dead center number 1, and this cylinder is, since the firing order is 187, this cylinder is 90 degrees before top dead center. So because they're still on the base circle, you should be able to push down on the lifter like this. If the lifter's empty and not pumped up with oil, you can push down the lifter. You can't really see it, but I can push that in. You do all 4 of them since you're on the base circle. And you should feel tension from a spring. That spring is inside the lifter itself. And so that tells me that I have the proper preload on these lifters. The lifter's not the rock arm, excuse me, not the lifter, but the rock arm is not loose, but it is under spring pressure from the lifters, and I can push it in. The reason I can push it in is because the lifter's not pumped up with oil. And now this is the time to check it, all right? So when I do this cylinder is 1-3. I'm gonna check the firing order, position it top dead center number 3, and then put the rock arms and check my preload on them. The only way this system is called a fixed geometry system. The only way to adjust preload on a lifter on this type systems, because I'm tightening this nut down till it bottoms out and it won't tighten anymore, 22 foot-pounds. So there's no adjustment in this bolt here to change the height of the lifter up and down, excuse me, not the lifter, the rock arm up and down. So the only way to adjust preload is the length of your push rod. These are factory 7.4-inch LS push rods. So this geometry is correct. If it wasn't correct, I would either have a lifter a rock arm that's too tight, wouldn't move down at all, or it'd be too loose, it'd be rattling right now. So that's how I know that I've got the right push rods for this engine, all right? So next is to do this cylinder, and then I'll do that cylinder. So I'm gonna rotate the engine to get it on top dead center on number 3. This part of this video might seem out of sequence, but as I was editing this entire video, I realized that I was doing something that I probably should explain. And a lot of times I've been doing this for so long, I do things without really thinking about it, but not realizing that my viewers may not know this. But all the discussions I've been having about putting the engine at top dead center on 6, 7, 8, whatever, are based on the fact that I was putting it on top dead center number 1 first. And so you might say, well, how do I find top dead center, because I don't have any timing marks? LS engines don't have timing marks on the front of the engine that you can reference a mark here to a mark on the cover to know where your top dead center is. So in that case, you really can't find top dead center right on the money, but you can get close to it by observing this. This is your number 1 cylinder, so you observe these 2 rock arms. So even if the rock arms aren't there, you can still watch the push rods moving up and down. So what I did was I rotated the engine. So in a firing order, or as an engine runs, after it fires, the piston goes to the bottom. Then when it's coming back up on the exhaust stroke, the exhaust valve opens, pushes all the exhaust out. And as soon as the exhaust valve closes, the piston reaches its top. As soon as the exhaust valve closes, the piston reaches the top, and then the intake valve opens and it starts coming back down to take in a fresh mixture. So what you watch for is a transition from the exhaust closing so the exhaust valve, you watch the exhaust valve open, then you watch it come back up, the valve will start rising back up, and as it's closing. And right when it starts to close, right after it closes, you'll notice this one will start moving down. So I look for that point where this is just closed and that's just starting to open, and that's pretty close to top dead center on the exhaust stroke, not the compression stroke, but the exhaust stroke.
Once I find that, all I have to do is rotate the engine another 360 degrees, and I'm on the compression stroke. All right. So I just happened to notice as I was doing this, I've already done it. So the exhaust valve is already closed, or just fully closed. The intake's about to open. I noticed this hole right here was pointed at about the 12:15 mark. Okay, 12 straight up, 15 minutes of the hour passed. So this hole about right here is top dead center on the number 1 cylinder. So you just have to watch your valves to know whether you're in the compression stroke or the exhaust stroke. Right now I'm on the exhaust stroke. So to find top dead center, I would rotate this around one more full turn, 360 degrees, to get back to here, and I'll be on top dead center on the number 1 cylinder on the compression stroke. From there, I just know that if I got to some other cylinder, I look at the firing order and know that I got to go so many degrees. You can go in increments of 90 degrees, so it'll be here to here to here to here, and then back to here. And so you just go in increments of 90 degrees to get to every other cylinder after the number 1. So if I wanted this number, look for example, number I think 187. I think 7 follows 1, two cylinders over, so it's 187. So to get to 7 top dead center, I go from here, put this dot to the bottom, and it'll be on 7 top dead center on the compression stroke. If I was on the number 1 on number 1 on the compression stroke. So all of my references to top dead center on different cylinders are based on the fact that I first established top dead center number 1, and then rotated 90 degrees from there to find the other cylinders. Hope that's clear. All right, I'm going to turn you back now to the regular video.
Okay, I just completed cylinder number 3. Let's see, this would be exhaust and intake. And I've got the engine rotated to top dead center number 1 because the firing order, I don't remember what it was, but I know that 3 was right before 1. So 3 precedes 1. So if 1 is at top dead center, meaning it is the piston's all the way up to the top, that means number 3 is already turned and headed back down, but it's only halfway down because it's 90 degrees from 1. So that means the cam, the lifters are still on the base circle in the cam because it hasn't tried to lift the valves yet. So you can adjust 3 while 1 is on top dead center on compression stroke, which I just did. All right, so now moving on to number 5. I'll check the firing order, position it again where number 5 is on the base circle, and I can put the 2 lifters on number 5. Excuse me, rocker. I keep getting the lifters and rocker arms confused. Put the 2 rocker arms on number 5. All right, I'm now done with all the 4 cylinders on the port side of this engine. So just finished up number 5, and to number 5, I'll put the engine on top dead center on number 6 because the firing order 5 is either right before or right after 6. Can't remember, but if 6 is at top dead center, that means 5 is halfway down and it's fine. So, and to get number 6 is a sister cylinder number 1. So if you know you're on top dead center number 1, rotate it 360 degrees, you'll be at top dead center number 6, which is where I was. I was on top dead center number 1, rotated 360 degrees. Now on top dead center number 6, which means I can do cylinder number 5. So now 1, 3, 5, and 7 are all done. I've got push in my rocker arm, make sure I got springiness there, and I do on both of them. And but it's not loose, so all my preload is good on this engine and is now ready to put the cover on this side, and this the port side is all the valve train is now done on the port side. I've now got to do the starboard side of the engine next. All right. The reason I have this looks new and that looks new is because they are new. I only had 14 of these rocker arms. Couldn't find the other 2. Misplaced them, so I had to buy a new bolt and rocker arm. So the end ones are new, the rest of them I'm reusing. I'll just clean them up very good, and then reuse them. All right, as I was saying, this wraps up the port side of the engine, and to do the starboard side, I'll do it off the camera. There's no need for me to duplicate the process. I will put in the description of this video which cylinder you have on top dead center to do which valve, or to do which rock arm. And hopefully I don't have to grind the bracket on the other side like I did this side, but I might have to, not sure. But I'm gonna go ahead and do that. It's kind of getting late, so I'm gonna quit for the night, and I'll come back out first thing in the morning and finish up the other side of this engine. Thanks for watching.